Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to the very first episode of Soundout's Toy Chest, the review series where I take a look at a random item that's not a part of the series I normally review. So, what is today's item? Well, your mystery clue is, going fast makes me feel alive. So therefore, today's review is the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Duel Runner. So the packaging for the Duel Runner is very simple. This was made by Playmates Toys in 2008, around the time the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's English dub premiered, and boasts having an exclusive figure in a spring-loaded projectile, which is pretty cool, I guess. Interesting to note, first of all, exclusive figure. Yeah, because there's no other Yusei figures from what I can tell. There's none without a helmet. I think the exclusiveness was supposed to be the helmet, and there'd be a figure later with this design, but there isn't. And it's also called Duel Runner / D-Wheel. That's kind of cool. But it's a box. Let's just move it aside. So let's talk about this exclusive figure. This is honestly not anything to get excited about. The problem with Yusei is that his spiky hair is part of his design. And when he has a helmet, but is off the Duel Runner, there's not a whole lot he can do. He looks really awkward. I mean, I guess you could have that one episode where he got beat by Callan and he's like falling off his bike. But yeah, you're kind of stuck with that. And it's very awkward. Continued because, well, his face sculpt is garbage. Thanks, Playmates. Honestly, I'm not really impressed by this face, and no one else should be. He also has the haircut of like Marth. It's weird. Yeah, I really would have liked an alternate head without the helmet on, especially since they never went through with actually making a regular Yusei figure, from what I can tell, and I've done a lot of Google searching. But, yeah, that face sculpt is generic anime face, and nothing more. Also, the visor's pink, and the helmet is clear plastic. I don't even know why. Other than that, the paint's pretty sloppy. Remember, we're dealing with 2008 Playmates toys here, so it's not too great, but he looks okay. His articulation-wise, he's got a head that turns, that actually, I think if you wedge this enough, it could pop out because it's on a mushroom peg. So, alternate head, please. 360 shoulders, but they're only a swivel, you can't move them out. You get a bicep, or you get an elbow swivel and an elbow bend, but it's not a very good one. It's actually a ball hinge thing. You get slight waist movement blocked by his coat. You get hip movement all over the place, which is good because he's supposed to sit on a bike. Then knee bends, and nothing else. He can't do a whole lot. Actually, he can do some things. He does come with accessories. How about that? Naturally, they gave a neat little play function they didn't have to, which was the dual disc can come off the Duel Runner. It's actually advertised as such, and we'll cover this now. It has two pieces, which are for the monster card slots here. So you get this complete dual disc look, which looks honestly pretty good. This is actually one of the best painted parts of the set. I'm actually quite impressed. It's better painted than Yusei. But, as you can see, clip, arm, no cards to duel with. Can't really hold it properly, but yay. Yay, we have dual disc power. Woo. There's also this missile. This missile's for the Duel Runner itself, but it has cards molded on it, so we're just going to give it to Yusei because that's about as close as you get with cards and a dual disc. Him wearing a helmet outside the bike. This figure is nothing to write home about, but it is made better with the Duel Runner itself. Here is Yusei's Duel Runner. Now this thing is sweet. I gotta say, out of everything this set has, this is the best part. Naturally, it's the name of the item as well. But dang, they did a good job replicating the Duel Runner. This looks pretty close to accurate to the show, minus some things like a hinge here in the front, which is weird, and the fact that, like, these don't move inward to adjust for arms and stuff. But, like, other than that, it looks really good. The paint's actually really sharp on here, and I'm impressed. Plus, the wheels, they're got clear plastic in the middle, hold them together, and it rolls really well. And even if you, like, kick up the kickstands here, and then it actually does roll super smooth. It does make a scratchy noise. That may also be my foam board here. But other than that, you can just kind of have those kicked down, and good to go. It's really nice, and I really, really am glad that the bike part of this turned out well, because, honestly, the Yusei figure's not that great. But he does have functionality here. First of all, remember a good old card missile. You can just stick this in here. That's one direction. So you get that, and then you press this button, and it doesn't actually fire. There we go. Yeah, it's a pretty weak spring, and there's really no point, but yeah, card missile, that's a thing. So let's put that back in and forget about it, and lift the arms pieces up here. You'll notice that this giant gaping hole, well, that's for the dual disc. So let's just plug that in like this. Bam. And then on either side, you can plug in these pieces. Now, I say plug in, as they just kind of slot in on either side for the runner mode. Now, this piece does not stay in at all. It's not molded properly. This is really annoying. That's the closest you're going to get, but we'll deal with that problem in a minute. The other issue is that officially you cannot have it in dual mode where these slide up here. And it's really hard to get it to work, but you can try. If you pop the dual disc piece out, and yes, I know they'll be on the wrong sides, but this is the best you're going to get with this, is that you can kind of plug it in still, because there's some room. So you got that. That's the closest you're getting, and it's really a shame because, yeah, the Japanese one could do that properly, but this one can't, unfortunately. So we'll just remove those for now, plug that back in, and that. Now let's bring Yusei in here. So Yusei's articulation allows for him to sit, which is good, because if he couldn't sit on his own motorcycle that he's included with, I would be throwing a fit. A literal fit. I don't even know how I do that, but it sure happened. Now, there is one peg on this side to peg his foot in, but not on this side. Consistency. Also, I usually put this piece in and then jam Yusei's leg against it so it stays in place. That seems to work pretty well. The arm handle things come down, and you can grab them like that. And that's pretty much it. That's the functionality of the Duel Runner right there. Yusei sits on bike. Bike goes vroom vroom, except there's no sounds for vroom vroom. You have to make them up yourself. Card missile fires, kinda. And that's all the functionality of the Duel Runner. It's really a good display piece to have, but other than that, there's not much else function. You can't even get the kickstands up and him to sit properly, which is kind of a shame. Like, you can kind of get it to work, then you have that piece falling out all the time. That is the most obnoxious thing. I can't even get over that. And then he's tilting, but you can have that going on, so that's pretty neat. But other than that, it doesn't do a whole lot more, but it doesn't really need to. So, Yusei's Duel Runner overall isn't that great. Let's be honest here, its missile doesn't really fire, the dual disc only works sort of, half of it doesn't even stay in, and the Yusei figure wouldn't look like Yusei without the clothes and the helmet. So, yeah, it's kind of a mediocre toy. But I really do enjoy having it because it is Yusei on his Duel Runner, and I really like 5Ds. I really like 5Ds, and I'm glad to own this. Plus, you know, we'll give him credit here, he sits better on his bike than Kamen Rider Mach does on his. Hence why he's fallen over. So, yeah, it's only a mild recommendation. It was harder to find in the US than in the UK. Now, I live in the US, and every US seller I found was trying to sell it for like $55. But then I looked at UK sellers and got it for $13 off eBay. It only took a month to arrive, but hey, 13's a lot better than 55. Don't pay a ridiculous amount of money for this because you will be disappointed. For the amount of money I paid, I feel perfectly satisfied, and that's what it comes down to. So overall, I would recommend it to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds fans, but not really anybody else. It's not a must-have, it's not even a great toy, but it's really cool to just own Yusei and his Duel Runner. Now, if only they made more of these. As far as I know, they didn't. So anyways, that is all. So next week's toy chest review will be a little bit mysterious, as we kind of don't know what we'll be talking about. But stay tuned, and check out my Twitter account, Soundout12, where you can get a clue a few days before the review goes live. So anyways, be sure to check out HeroTalker.com for all your Yu-Gi-Oh! News and more, and stay tuned as every week I post 3 videos: Model Kit Monday, Toy Chest Thursday, and Soundout Review Saturday. So anyways, talk to Soundout saying goodbye.